Want to know the greatest predictor of longevity? There's a research story behind that. This is your daily message from Chad number 845 to upgrade your mental game today by telling yourself a better story. Because the most important story you hear is the story you tell yourself. And this message is dedicated to James Nestor. Here's the upgrade. How you breathe is fundamental to your well-being. Here's the story. Did you know that lung capacity is one of the greatest predictors of longevity? In his book, Breathe, James Nestor tells about a 70-year study that determined lung capacity was the greatest predictor of lifespan. He writes, quote, "More recently, science has begun testing what the ancient Tibetans understood intuitively. In the 1980s, researchers with the Framingham study, a 70-year longitudinal research program focused on heart disease, attempted to find out if lung size really did correlate to longevity. They gathered 2 decades of data from 5,200 subjects, crunched the numbers, and discovered that the greatest indicator of lifespan wasn't genetics, diet, or the amount of daily exercise as many had suspected. It was lung capacity. The smaller and less efficient lungs became, the quicker subjects got sick and died. The cause of deterioration didn't matter. Smaller meant shorter, but larger lungs equaled longer lives. Our ability to breathe full breaths was, according to the researchers, literally a measure of living capacity," end quote. One of my checklists that I journal through every morning are 7 fundamentals. These are foundational components, backed by research, that every person must have in place in order to flourish. The number 1 fundamental is breathing. An author I read almost every day, Honoree Corder, sent an email this morning talking about foundations. She says, "Hustle is okay if you're doing it on a foundation. Working harder isn't the answer if you don't have good fundamentals in place. If you're building, but you're building on sand, you're not going to last." She continued, "And that foundation isn't built with cups of motivation, inspiration, or even discipline, though those help a lot and you'll need them in spades. It's built on something far more practical: systems, structure, and sustainability," end quote. I would submit to you that your base layer of your foundation is your breath. James Nestor says, quote, "No matter what we eat, how much we exercise, how resilient our genes are, how skinny or young or wise we are, none of it will matter unless we're breathing correctly. That's what these researchers discovered. The missing pillar in health is breath. It all starts here," end quote. We can survive for weeks without food, days without water, minutes without breath. Lung capacity is one of the greatest predictors of longevity. And good news, it can be developed via proper breathing. The better story to tell yourself is, my reset button is only a breath away. Did you know that ancient rabbis thought the proper pronunciation of the name of God sounded a lot like inhaling and exhaling? There are a lot of breathing techniques and useful for different situations. Your basic breathing pattern should be: number 1, in through your nose; number 2, down into your belly; number 3, exhale slightly longer than you inhale. Try it. Just pay attention to your breath is beneficial. Who knew breathing was so beneficial? Tell me a story of how you take the proverbial deep breath to fromchadsmith@gmail.com. Will you send this to someone you think would benefit from this story right now? You can download my book, The Most Powerful Story in the World, by going to fromchad.gumroad.com. The transcript of this message and hundreds of others are always available at www.fromchad.com.